Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 Wii review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Super Mario Galaxy 2, which if you've never played it before, it's pretty much the first game, only bigger. So at the start you'll probably notice something straight away, and that's with the name of the game. It's the fact that last time the stars lit up what people were calling a secret message, so intentionally they've actually changed the stars on this one so it doesn't say that anymore, which is it's just stupid really. So anyway, I'm going to actually cut into a file because I'm going to try and make this as spoiler free as possible, because I know that it's a massively hyped up game, everyone wants it, people will want to know info about it but they won't want to know too much. So in all honesty, pretty much the only new thing I'm going to show off is Yoshi, and I'll explain why, however I will mention things. So I suppose I'll start off with the most notable major difference, and that's that your world hub is now actually a ship of you, and you can go around it and do very minimal stuff on it and that, and get some star bits and get some lives and stuff, although in all honesty you won't actually have to struggle for lives on this game. You won't have to fend for them or anything because they're all over the place. Literally inside about the first half an hour of playing the game I'd managed to collect about 30 lives and miss about another 10, which I could have quite easily got. I just thought, what's the point, I've already got about 30. The good thing is that when you actually switch off, your lives reset to the basic 4, however it still means that while you're playing the game in long periods of times, you're never going to have to worry about lives. So that's pretty much my first big disappointment about the game, the fact that they've actually made it even easier. Yep, that's right, if you're looking at this video now thinking, oh god, the last game was so easy it's unbelievable, I hope they've made it harder. No, they've done everything in their power to make it even easier. There's checkpoints all over the place now, which there's no need for them, there really isn't. It's just your standard flag, you go into it, or Yoshi can lick it, and bam, that's it. When you die, if you manage to die, I really don't see how you could manage to die, you'd go right back to that checkpoint. And as I say, there's also lives all over the place. There's then the fact that if you somehow manage to die a ton of times in a row, the Super Guide from Super Mario Bros. Wii has been added to this as well, as we all knew it would be, because Nintendo kinda said that they'd be doing it on pretty much all their games from now on. So, as I say, you've got the Super Guide as well to make it even easier. You've got just all sorts of things that didn't need to be on the last game and that don't need to be on this one to make it the easiest experience possible. Seriously, through playing this game, I was so disgusted with what Nintendo had done, I felt violently sick, because it's almost as if they've totally ignored everything everyone said and just thought, well, no, we'll make it even easier. I really don't see why they've done it. I mean, as you can see there as well, there's now tutorial vids. Hell, you get a DVD with a game that actually teaches you how to play it. You really don't need teaching how to play it. Unless this is your first ever video game in the history of, you've never played anything before, then you're not going to need that DVD. So yeah, anyway, I think it's pretty safe to say I've covered the difficulty of the game. Now I'll cover the other things. Basically, if you've played the first game, you'll pretty much know exactly what you're doing, because nothing much has changed. It's all the basic stuff, but only there's more of it now. There's more powers. There's Yoshi, it finally makes an appearance, and as I say, when I show him off, I will explain why he's the only thing I'm showing off. Because, again, don't really want to spoil much by showing off new powers and stuff when people don't want to see it. So, there's new powers, there's new Yoshi. Yoshi even has powers, which is pretty cool. There's all sorts of new galaxies, and there's just new things to collect as well. You're not limited to just collecting stars. There's comet star coin type things and that, and there's just all sorts of them to get as well. So it's a much heftier game than before. I'd probably say it's pretty much twice as long, unless, of course, you count the fact that it's even easier, so you'll probably breeze through it in just the same amount of time. But anyway, so yeah, as I was saying then, there's the co-op mode makes a return, so you can have a friend basically do things with a star. It's just as useless as it was on the last game. I mean, I don't actually know anyone who enjoyed it enough. However, I did hear of a few people actually playing through it in co-op and saying that they enjoyed it. I just don't know these people, so stand by my statement if I don't know anyone who actually enjoyed doing it. And that's pretty much everything that they've actually brought back that was on the last game. I mean, obviously you've got these parts here where you have to spin through the star and it launches you section to section. You've got all the bits like that make a return, so pretty much everything that made the first game loved is back. Just as I say, they've added even more stuff. So, on to Yoshi. So this is Yoshi then, and the reason that I'm showing off Yoshi is because they've actually broken him. If you've played Mario games before, then you know exactly how Yoshi is supposed to play. With this, they've added pointer controls for the fact that, well, they're there. That is the only reason I can physically see them adding it, unless they intentionally wanted to make Yoshi evil to control. Because now, when Yoshi eats up an item, well, let's start with how Yoshi eats up an item, to be fair. The fact that you have to point to it. You can't just put Yoshi in the direction and push to stick out his tongue. Oh no, you have to point to the item for him to eat it. Then, when you've got something that you can spit out, you have to point to aim it, which is actually really clumsy. It's not particularly accurate. When the camera's being awkward and it's refusing to allow you to move it, like now, then it can be especially awkward because you can't even move the camera to assist you to aim it up. And it's just, as I say, there's absolutely no need for them to have actually done this at all, other than the fact that they've obviously thought, well, it's there, so we might as well put it in, which is really bad way to make a game as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, Yoshi controlling Pearly aside and all that, there are some things about this game that pretty much have stayed like the last one for the better. The fact that the music's still pretty much good, and graphically, well, to be fair, graphically I'm a little disappointed because it pretty much looks the same when I was expecting something a little better. But still, I've mentioned the music, so I'm going to shut up for a bit, try and defeat this boss after fighting through the awkward Yoshi controls to aim and fire, and let you listen to a bit of the music. So there we go then, that was a bit of the music, and I'm pretty much on to the final things to say because there really isn't much, especially as I'm trying to, as I say, keep this spoiler free and that, and hopefully I've managed to do so, but at the same time still provide enough information for people who wanted to know about the game. The final things to see are the Lumas are back that you have to feed with star bits and that in order to actually unlock galaxies. The controls for Mario are pretty much the same, the work and all that, just like the last one. The only problem I've still got with them, and it's the problem I had with the last one, and this galaxy is the perfect one to show this, I don't like flicking to do that attack because on galaxies like that where flicking changes the panels over, it can just basically screw you over because it's a bit too sensitive in times, and if you accidentally twitch or anything through no fault of your own, you can then die, and well, it's just something that I hated about the last one and I still hate it in this one. And the other pretty much new thing to mention is that you can actually now play in a game a chance to try and get lives as if you're not completely like full of lives already, so it's basically worth collecting coins and saving up for them. So, yeah then, the final thing to say is purely the opinion part of the vid now. It's basically the type of thing to mention whether or not someone's going to like this game. If you love the last one and every part of it and everything, then you're probably going to love every part of this one and say it's one of the best games ever. If you hated the last one, you're probably going to say the worst things about this one, so there's nothing really to bring haters and make them lovers. And if you're like myself, who loved the last one but hated the fact that it was stupidly easy, but forgave it for the fact that it was the first game in the series, however expected the sequel to be much harder because, let's face it, it's no longer new ground, so there's no excuses for why they couldn't have made it harder, then you're going to be completely disappointed just like I am. So, yeah. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.